And in entertainment, fans criticized the 300,000 naira ticket fee in Ashake concert. Do also subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube at Voice of the People TV and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage requests, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom directly by mail at news@vop.ng. I am Chioma Innocent. Thank you for watching.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP this morning, and I am Moses Humphrey.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukuma Okoro.
And I'm Fina. Okay, Chuku.
Now let's take you through the conversation for this morning. Insecurity, like I said. First on our plate this morning, bandits, gunmen wreak havoc across Nigeria. Tinubu'S nomination of ex-Inec chair as ambassador, slammed. Serap sues Akpabio Abbas over missing 18.6 billion naira NASC complex funds. Now, those are the conversations on our table this morning.
Now, Moses, talking about those conversations, briefly before we get into other trending stories too, because there are other trending stories we'll chime in on. When I saw that ambassadorial list, I came to the ultimate and unpleasant conclusion that for Nigeria, it is finished.
So now, is Nigeria a failed state or what? You know, you've been defending this all this while. Are we?
No, it's not about being a
if something is finished, if something is yakari, if something is gone,
I'm sure that's not the finished argument. But, you know, when I saw the list, I just said to myself, it is even more obvious.
It is over.
It is more obvious that President Bola Tinubu is clueless and knows absolutely not what to do. I mean, he doesn't know what to do. And he's only reactionary. Yeah, he's only reactionary. And all he thinks about, or all it seems that he cares about, is appeasing his friends.
To protect himself. That is regime protection. That is what it's all about, not about the people.
Not about the people.
Unfortunately, so that is what it has become.
But anyway, I also blame the people who have spoken so bad and ill about him and went back again to lick up their vomits. That was
it's politics.
Nigerian politicians.
It's politics. Those are politicians. That's their way.
All right, you can be part of this conversation by just doing a very simple thing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not done that. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. Across other streaming platforms, we have VOP TV Live. And if you have your SL TV, there we are playing on channel 264. That's where we are on the big screen. And we also have a website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news. And talking about trending stories, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has confiscated the international passport of former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, who happens to be a senior advocate of Nigeria. The seizure is part of an ongoing investigation into the whereabouts of the $490 million Abacha loot recovered through a Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, the MLAT. Malami has been barred from leaving Nigeria for the next month and is required to report daily to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja for further interrogations. The EFCC cited the large volume of documents to be reviewed and the need for extensive interviews as reasons for seizing his passport. The minister, or the former minister, has denied any wrongdoing, describing the allegation as fabricated. And he also is stating that the truth will soon unfold. Malami was released on bail around 1 a.m. on Saturday after hours of questioning. Key conditions given to Malami happens to be that he must report to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja daily for the next month. He is barred from traveling outside Nigeria without the EFCC permission or a high court order. The EFCC will continue to investigate Malami's role in the alleged missing $490 million Abacha loot. Nigerians have been asking questions about this money. I can recall, I think 2016 or thereabouts, when Obasanjo was asked, where is this money? I'm talking about the recovered funds from Abacha's loot. And Obasanjo said something. He said, he also went further to call the court of law in Nigeria, who wants to know what he did with the money, stupid. He dignified his critics with some wisdom as of that time, saying, I don't keep account of this money. All recovered roots happen to be with the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Minister of Finance. So if you want any information, go there and ask them. That happened during Obasanjo's time. Now bring it back to when Malami was the Accountant General of the Federation. The question Nigerians ask then is, what is happening? Is it that the monies, after being sent back to Nigeria, we see another person relooting it again? What is really playing out? The money we're looking at is $490 million. That's a huge sum, a very big money to start with. And we're going back and forth. Imagine having this money within the coffers of Nigeria. Our life would have changed. But all the same, we keep on playing politics with everything. But I'm happy that EFCC have decided to look into this. Though some people are calling this political witch hunts, why would Malami now be called up at this point to come and answer questions regarding the $470 million? Is it because he decided to move to the ADC to join force with other politicians that have joined the party to give APC a run for the 2027 election. I don't want to give this a political connotation or anything. All I want is let the looted fund that have been recovered through a mutual legal assistance treaty be used for Nigerians. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking at getting at this point. Because we cannot keep on talking about abject poverty. We can't keep on borrowing funds and funds what we have. But, you know, someone said something in Yoruba the other day. They sent a message, they say, ole egbe, you know, more like, you know, playing so I don't know. But all I want is, let us find out what happened to that money, because that money is huge and it will help Nigerians at this point where we're having economic meltdown.
Well, all the monies recovered from the Abacha loot are huge sums, if you ask me. He's alleged to have taken about $5 billion, you know, approximately $5 billion. And as of 2022, Nigeria has a record of about $3.65 billion recovered from Abacha loot from different parts of the world, Switzerland, the UK, the US, and the rest of them. Yes, now for those that consider this a political witch hunt, it's unfortunate that we have degenerated to that level. The fact of the matter is that when you are kept in charge of administering a certain thing, you should be held accountable. You know, you should be held accountable. You should explain how you were able to manage it. And if under your watch, there were improprieties, monies were lost or unaccounted for, you should be called upon to make account. Now, it's unfortunate that we have, you know, gotten to that level. But in this particular case, I say it's a good thing that Abubakar Malami is being called upon to make accounts for the monies missing. And, well, you see, for EFCC not to be seen as being a tool in the hands of politicians, it will be good for the EFCC to go after every other person that has misappropriated funds. You know, when you see this post on social media, the name, and then you read through comments, Nigerians will say, what of Yahaya Bello? And when you see things like that, you know, it points to the fact that the EFCC is influenced. Relevant agencies are influenced and not allowed to do their jobs. So, Abubakar Malami, well, passport seized, one month, he has questions to answer, good. But then again, the EFCC have said they are not saying he stole the money. All they are saying is, come and make accounts. And by the time he goes through the books and then answers questions, and then, you know, they will now reveal their findings. And it makes me wonder, how do you just fly a kite or cause a ripple, throw a stone into the pond without knowing exactly what you intend to achieve? You should have been conducting investigation on the ground. Yeah. In fact, from the time a person gets into office, there should be investigations going on about the activities of the person. If the person is one that has immunity, yes, but he wasn't under immunity. He didn't have any immunity. Okay, you kept his file, waited up until now, and you're telling us that you don't have key information at this point in time. I think those, I know they know their jobs, and I think they should do their jobs and be seen to be doing their job properly, like it should be done.
Well, I think for me, I bother less because this is the story of Nigeria. It's the story of Nigeria.
It's heartbreaking.
Wow. It's heartbreaking. We are used to it. In the first place, with respect to the dead former head of state, talking about Sani Abacha, in places where things, you know, are done well, I think archaeologists, you know, and scientists will go into his body, you know, and find out the kind of person he was. The kind of
autopsy on his mind, on his brain.
On his brain. You know, to find out what kind of person he was, you know, to have lent himself to this kind of primitive acquisition in a place. Let's talk about, he's from Kano State.
Yes, it is.
Kanuri. Yeah. What is the level of poverty in that Kano State as at the time Abacha was head of state? Let's even say, okay, that for the 5 years he was in office, that he decided to build Kano up until it becomes like Amsterdam. Will anybody question him? He was head of state.
He was head of state.
So we need to go back and find out what powered him, what propelled him to do all that he did. I recall the wife saying, look, no matter how much is quoted, I didn't hear her say that, she's been quoted to have said, no matter how much you people have taken from the Abacha family, they can't even be, Dangote, they will still be richer than Aliko Dangote, as at that time. I didn't hear her say that, but it was quoted. She was quoted to have said that. Now that said, we have a government that, I don't even know whether to, for a better word, I'm looking for a superlative that qualifies cluelessness, more. You have a government, Malami was Attorney General of the Federation. Was he the Accountant General? Was he the Central Bank Governor? Was he the Minister of Finance? They didn't have those people in place. So that is what, when people look at these things, the trajectory, they say, look, it is politically motivated. Why now? Why now? So for how long ago did this serve? So why didn't you bring up the books to review them up until this moment? So these are the questions. So I'm not bothered because, look, EFCC said they caught him in a trap and opened a small door for him. They said he cannot travel except he gets approval from the EFCC or he gets a court order. And we have some courts in Abuja where you can get orders and all of that. I don't want to mention names, So it's like a child's play because they will turn around. The court will grant him order to go and take care of his health, maybe after 1 week or so, and he will come back. We have similar stories. Monies recovered from Abacha have been relooted to the point that we have lost track. So it's the story of Nigeria, but that is quite unfortunate. Well, if you will say that there is nothing political in this, make sure that you get to the end of the matter. And Malami didn't act alone. He was just the Attorney General. Bring in the person that served as Minister of Finance. We had an Accountant General then. And all of that. Put the record straight so that Nigerians will understand.
Act alone to start with.
Exactly. And the people that we heard that acted with Abacha, that man is now the Minister of Finance, Budget and Planning in this country. And he was rewarded.
Yes, sir.
He was rewarded. So that is why I say it is the story of Nigeria. That is what we have become as a people. And the international community is looking at us, laughing at us. Unfortunately, now let's get into another story. A legal practitioner and policy analyst, Dr. Monde Obani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has stated that Nigeria's insecurity will persist unless the federal government grants full autonomy to local governments. While Obani argued that despite investments in security, the country's insecurity persists because local governments, constitutionally designed to dictate early threats and support policing efforts, have been weakened. He noted that state governments' control over local councils' funds and imposition of loyalists have undermined independent administration, rendering councils ineffective in protecting their populations. Well, Obani urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to prioritize direct funding and unrestricted autonomy for local councils, describing it as a national priority. Obani emphasized the need for full constitutional and financial autonomy for local governments to stem insecurity. He argued that local governments are best positioned to detect early threats and support policing efforts. Well, Monde Obani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, I will disagree with you on this. I will disagree with you on point of constitutionality, except you go back to the Constitution to change that clause that says, look, State Self-Assembly has the right, legal right, to make laws for the administration and good governance of local governments. Nothing will change. They have become special purpose vehicles for governors. The governors do whatever they want with it. They appoint interim caretaker committees. They also influence who gets elected. And by the way, when you say that insecurity has spiked because local government, I don't see the correlation. What do local governments do? Do they have arms? Are they in control of security agencies or what? Early detection. So when you detect, what happens? You report to who? You report to the state. And when you report to who? The governor. The governor reports to the state commissioner of police. What does the state commissioner of police do? He now report to the IGP of police to get order and clearance. We all know what happens. We hear that attacks have happened earshots, from military checkpoints. Not even police checkpoints. I'm talking about military checkpoints, barracks. And we also see that these men, some of the attackers, wield the Nigerian Army assault rifles and all of that. So until we get back to the basics, if it's a constitutional problem, or good, I think that we are going through a constitutional review now, if we get to the root of it and say, look, remove local government from the states, make them autonomous to the extent that they draw their funds and authority from the constitution, we will still be running this circle show and talking about what the local government has not done, what the state governor has not done. Let's even take away insecurity from it. What of the primary health care that is within their purview? What have they done? They can't do anything because the money comes into the state, the governor calls the local government chairman, you got 200 million naira. I assign that you got 200 million naira. I'm giving you 40 million naira to work with. Out of that 40 million naira, pay salaries, take your own security vote. By the time the local government chairman is done, he's left with about 1.5 million naira. So next month the same thing, the other month the same thing. So it's just a charade that continues until we get to the root of the problem. I'm not sure that local government. Meanwhile, this administration has tried, and look, the president himself made the same mistake. Instead of going to the National Assembly to seek amendment, he went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not above the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is where the problem is. So let's do things right if you want to get things right.
All right. Talking about insecurity and the role of the local government. Unfortunately, Nigerians, I'd rather take it from this point that Nigerians are basically fending for themselves in the area of providing security and amenities, basically in every other area. Nigerians have been fending for themselves. It's well, we understand that the issue of local government autonomy is still being discussed, but of course, like Chukuma rightly said, that's not completely